Good evening, fellow mourners. Let me recognize the bereaved family, in particular Mazi and Rakotongs, Libana, Libo Mangwane, Libo Malome, and everybody else. But Sadi ke hano ke maswabi ha ke a kgona go latsa Sister Lou le lona. In view of time, allow me to just pay tribute to this fallen giant, this sister of mine that I loved dearly. And let me start by sharing something that happened on the 11th of February, June, this Friday. I had a dream, a nightmare, to be precise, of my own untimely demise. I'll not get into the detail because that would really not help us in any way. Safe to say that the dream confirmed what I've always known, what I've always seen, and what I always admired about Sister Lou: the consistency of her unwavering persona and the authenticity of her fathomless love during trying times. She's the one who we would all go to as her younger sisters when darkness has clouded the world. Sister Lou is the one that I would call when in most distress, which is why I must have dreamt of her when I myself was facing a morbid situation. The dream was quite ironic. It was a foreshadowing that reminded me that even in my death, Sister Lou will be present. The dream, while incomprehensible or incongruent, was reflective of our sisterhood on hindsight. A sisterhood predicated on consistent, unshakable, and genuine love for one another. I firmly believe that my bond with her is that of a sisterhood that should survive the cycle of life and death. While this dream completely floored me, it made me realize that maybe God, in his own shrouded mysticism, wanted us to commiserate. It had been a while since we had spoken, and amidst the emotional roller coaster I've had to forcibly ride when learning of this shocking news, I cannot help but ask myself whether this was divine foreshadowing of my sister's untimely death, or my own unfortunate preoccupation with the capriciousness of death amidst the tragic loss of lives from COVID-19. In retrospect, I believe this was a message that our precious bond would be relived in a better place, at a better time, in a better world. Let me talk about at least 7 values that I lived and experienced with Sister Lou, which will remain with me forever. Sister Lou's life revolved around her family, her friends, and her nieces and nephews. This constituted a religious system of love, of generosity, of care, of noble thoughtfulness, of her pursuit of good charity and humor, among others. Sister Lou was quite deliberate in everything that she did, in her friendships, in the times that she spent with each one of us, in making us feel unique and loved, regardless of the time and hour. You would hear every time she would never refer to Martinez as Martinez. It was always Orabatunks, it was always Mazi, Sisi, Standosame. Oh, Miss Cha did this. Oh, Buye. Oh, my dear sister, you know, she had a unique way for expressing her love for friends and peers alike. She constantly invested in these friendships. Sister Lou, if most of you will recall, she was gifted with the gab. She had a unique way of expressing and mimicking certain accents, especially that from Nigeria, and sometimes some accents, in the US. When in pain, you are discussing something very serious with Sister Lou, and you're looking at her. Sometimes you'd be, tearing away. You'll be talking. She'll just stand and say, Ndu, it is finished, in her Nigerian accent. I'm going to rebuke this in the name of Jesus. And she'd go on and on. We would laugh, we would hug, and would get back to business. But that was her way of ensuring that we don't carry weight forever. That she also has a way of melting you away and making you laugh a little bit more. She spread these positive vibes throughout her relationship with her sister. When Sister Lou was not well, she would call and say, "No, don't worry. Mazi has cooked. Mazi has done this. Rava tongues passed by. I spoke to the children. Oh, Sisi was here. She spent the whole day with me, and this is what happened." Because she gave love, she also got love back. She always was a breath of fresh air. Sister Lou never failed to bring people together, whether be it in the US, whether back here home, or anywhere else. She ensured that we got together and loved each other. That was a way of giving us value in unity, value in friendship, and values of commiseration and laughter. I must also indicate that there was another side of Sister Lou that she really never stood on the fence about. Sister Lou had certain things that she had disdain for, and rightly so. For instance, if you showed any disrespect to a member of her family or to anybody else that she liked, she would not hesitate to ostracize you because she valued family and believed in anybody that she liked. She would brag about her friendships with her friendships with Ronke. We know Ronke in Nigeria. We know of friends that Sister Lou had in the US. She would brag about Sisi's Tandosami and how she's consistent and how similar they are in many ways. We would know when milestones have been achieved by any of the nieces and nephews. And this for me was something that I valued because I also value such recognition and such appreciation of teachings and friendship. Besides being a beacon of love, Sister Lou was also a person who aimed for perfection in the attainment of human values. She was a connoisseur for good food, comfortable living, and would coach you on the values of such. She had a fine eye for haute couture. No wonder we have choo-choos. It was not by mistake, it was by design. She knew when an executive was appointed in town, and she was very clear that it is important for this person to be groomed, this person to be dressed well. She modeled how often we are not careful on how we express ourselves. And she made sure she modeled due appreciation. She modeled how people should not be making undue demands. She invested in children's manners. And no surprising, you look at Bomis Cha, you look at Bureau and Sesame. These were children who were taught deliberately not to be self-centered. They were taught that they should be considerate and they must be well-mannered. And we were never disappointed every time we came here. She modeled paying compliments. All of you know that you've gotten compliments from Sister Lou, one or the other. And because she had a keen eye, she always gave good remarks about people in relation to their home or their food with no hidden criticism, but with genuine admiration and love. I could go on forever about what rubbed off me from Sister Lou. She was one person who would always make sure that I took the right decisions in my life and was my lodster, which always guided me to the right harbor. When I left Botswana to Windhoek, it was because Sister Lou kept saying to me, Ndu, I don't understand with your intellect. Why are you not being promoted? What is happening? Why are they not wearing spectacles? Can't they see that, you could go places? You could go places. Oh, Sister Lou believed in my abilities, and this was exceptional. When I decided it was time to start dating, and when I met my husband, Sister Lou was invited to come and check him out. And her wisdom prevailed because I knew it came from the right place. And I knew that if she had no approval, ratings for him, it would not go far. And I'm sure her wisdom is what I live on today. And I've made those two decisions in my life that I've never regretted. Let me just say, my indefatigable and loving sister was indeed all things to me and all things to many of us that we encountered her. As we lay her to rest, or as we lay her body to rest, I pray for her soul to rest in peace. But only God knows when my anguished spirit will ever find rest. Sometimes the pain of loss can be worse than death. She ran her race. We shall be bonded by love and her values. We shall forever cherish each other. Mazira, Tongs, and the children. Sisi, Standosame. We are here. We will always make sure that the love that we share permeates. May her soul rest in peace. And may God bless you all. Thank you.